Franco Morbidelli will start from the head of the grid for the first time in MotoGP, and all Yamaha front row for the 350th MotoGP start. Can he make it? 200 Premier Class podiums here today. Jack Miller, Mavro and Joan Mir from row 3. They've had excellent race pace all weekend, particularly in FP4, but Michelin soft rear tyre. Tyre preservation, tyre management will be critical. The start will be vital. Will it in Barcelona?
It's chilly out there. You can see from Razlan Razali that who's going to be example of just how good that Ducati is off the line as well on the long drag into turn 1. He made his Premier Class. Valentino Rossi, 350 races and still not out.
In 2000, the Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez. Can he become the first rider to make it a double century? This man would love to make it a second win in the last 3 Grand Prix after his brilliance in Misano 1.
Is on a Sunday.
They'll be pushing hard on this warm-up lap, Steve, to try and just generate some heat into those tyres, and they'll be hoping that they're not Barcelona picking up the pieces after all the drama at turn 10, instigated by Jorge Lorenzo. Down went Valentino at turn 10 on those early laps will be critical.
The big race is ahead of us. There's different countries cheering on their heroes, and it's now time to go racing. 4 rides. We hope that you enjoy this one. I'm really excited about this because I've got genuinely...
Big stoppy on the grid as he tries to get some temperature in those carbon front brake discs. Franco Morbidelli doing the same. Dividends with the 3 Yamahas ahead of them. Vital that Morbidelli, Quartararo and Rossi make the launch off the lights.
Everyone with the same rubber. The green flag waving. The monster and eyes to the lights. Revs up. And we are off. A good start from Morbidelli from pole. Rossi, he will, ahead of Miller and Quartararo.
Morbidelli absolutely smashed it off the line, didn't he? Miller got away very, very well. Now Dovizioso! Dovizioso's gone down as well. Unbelievable. He's lost the World Championship lead at the... Has Zarco got that Pramac Ducati deal signed yet? That's a big blow for Zarco and Ducati. Andrea Dovizioso.
Jack Miller. Miller left the door open there then. So it's Morbidelli and Valentino Rossi. 1 and 2 here. Miller 6th.
Dovizioso can't believe it. He's gone from undaunted to unimpressed with it.
The championship will change. Down in then. Jack Miller almost T-bone Valentino.
Rossi almost involved again. Second time in a row, hasn't it, now that Dovizioso has been taken out. Look at that. A replay of that, but another monumental swing in the pendulum in terms of this year's 2020 Moto Grand Prix at the end of lap 1.
Lynn Jarvis will be over the moon. There's 3 Yamahas out front at the end of lap 1. Not many people. Alex Rins, he made up so many places on that opening lap.
What the heck happened to Maverick Vinales on lap 1 as well?
Here on Morbidelli. Also, Pecco Bagnaia, a brilliant start from him. He's up 5 places. Likewise,
so Franco Morbidelli, when he got in this position in Misano, he never looked back. He got an absolutely sensational start. Turn 2.
Maverick Vinales just didn't get off the line very well. It's simple as that.
Oh, it's Petrucci. Chain reaction. So apologies there to Joan Zarco, which inadvertently has taken out Zarco and Dovizioso. Oh, dearie me.
Bagnaia is then just behind him, and then it's Aleix Espargaro.
Yeah, Andrea Dovizioso, obviously, because why Dovizioso was blaming Zarco, and that's why I kind of pointed the finger of blame at Joan Zarco as well, but quite clear
what will be his teammate in 2021.
Well, it was an ultimately failed pursuit, wasn't it? Pressure. How's Maverick Vinales getting on now? He's lost another place. Vinales over the line at the end of lap 2.
Turn 1, I think he'd lost 7 or 8 places. It's going to be a disaster for him. Of course, he was 1 point down in the championships. Just up ahead of Joan Mir. Mir will be more than happy with that in the first couple of laps. He's made up 3
burst lap incident instigated by Petrucci. Zarco just reacting to the mistake by Danilo, and then Dovizioso.
The Yamaha's able to run their lines. The virtual fan wall. Well, the start of this race, if you're a Dovi fan, you'll be very, very disappointed. It's Morbidelli then that leads from Rossi in warm-up.
It's all ifs, buts, whats and maybes, but you can't help but think where Franco Morbidelli would be.
Up to the garage doors and will shut them. He's not entertaining any cameras. Not seen him fire up for a while, but he's closing now on Valentino Rossi
by Andrea Dovizioso, and that's what put him, unfortunately, in that position to be punted out after the mistake. He called it, or I called it, having seen Andrea Dovizioso's reaction, who obviously couldn't see.
Okay. Disappointed, of course, himself, who will be disappointed in on Valentino Rossi in second place. Jack Miller doing well to hang on in there at the moment. Still Mir, Oliveira in 10th, Ed Binder.
Quite a bit of work to do, isn't there, for Pol Espargaro to latch onto the back of Joan Mir.
Well, here we go. You'll see now, off the line. Not a particularly great start. Bogged it there. Absolute weapons alongside him. Look, there's Zarco, there's Rins, there's Dovi as well going through places as he lost on just the run to turn 1.
Zarco missed the start. He was trying that Ducati whole shot device for the way through turn 2 on lap 1.
Great lap from Jack Miller. Fastest lap of the race from the number 43 on the Pramac Ducati when he went to win the race here 2 years ago. Just up ahead of him there, Fabio Quartararo right now on
hanging into this podium fight, the victory fight still on that Pramac Ducati.
On board with Rossi through turn 7 and 2. Morbidelli out front, 0.3 of a second.
Well, we're going to have a new World Championship leader by this top 5 are quite comfortably clear of Pol Espargaro, who's keeping Alex Rins at half
time. That's when we're really going to find out where the cream rises to the top, because that's when we suspect. Onto the home straight we go to complete lap 5. It's as you were. Morbidelli, Rossi, get the Yamaha stop. They're both going to go a bit deep here, but he manages just about to hold on. Quartararo.
When his rivals down the ears here in Barcelona, the doctor gets a taste of his own medicine down into turn 1.
Franco Morbidelli, they've not raced in close quarters too many times actually since they both
placed. What did he say yesterday? It's so hard to overtake on the Yamaha. Well, he's about to find out exactly how hard it is, because full advantage taken by Fabio Quartararo up the inside of Rossi. Made sure he could see Rossi on the outside.
3 of his men on the podium here today. Still Jack Miller holding on, 4/10 adrift in 4th place. Here's Pol Espargaro.
Well, this is a big gang behind Pol Espargaro, isn't it? Rins can't find a way through. We know that Quartararo find it to get through on Pol Espargaro last weekend in Misano, when Pol Espargaro's rear tyre was completely shaped for such a long time.
Quartararo, fastest lap of the race, a 40.260. Rossi in 4th. Alex Rins has gone through on Pol Espargaro then. Rins is up into...
Here at all. The gap between Mir is over 2 seconds, so there's a lot of work to do for Alex Rins to get himself back. It's too late for Rins to get himself in that top 5 battle.
On board with Quartararo as he chases down his...
Well, as it is, Fabio Quartararo will be taking over at the summit themselves in the foot, didn't they, at turn 2.
Breaking up on that A-spec Yamaha.
You know what's happening here, Steve, which is quite a surprise? Mir's not got the pace of that top 4.
His pace on used tyres, they're not dropping anywhere near as much as Yamaha and other machines at the stages of this, but you are right, at the moment he's losing a good chunk of time there to Jack Miller.
Yeah, half a second slower than Quartararo. That last lap was Mir. 4/10 quicker than Alex Rins, who's just set hit on that last lap, so straight away he's been able to gap the KTM man.
Live championship as it stands, 12 points the lead. Franco Morbidelli, it gets even better for him, and he is closing on his teammate into turn
3 with Jack Miller hanging on in that podium battle as well. Razlan Razali. Look, Valentino Rossi still in contention there in 3rd place. We're looking forward to Franco Morbidelli.
Quartararo knows he's got to make a move pretty clean. These guys not having a great run in the early stages. Keeping an eye on the trio of Yamahas up ahead of him. Here comes out of 14. There's no one better at this moment. Is he going to be able to now get in the slipstream of Franco Morbidelli in Barcelona?
So the onus now on Morbidelli. What has he got to respond? Quartararo. Rossi gap Morbidelli, and then just try and manage it when the tyres inevitably do drop off in the second.
Want to burn it up too soon.
To turn 4, we had that big moment on the front end this morning and then toppled over in the...
As a rider like Franco Morbidelli, you can see there just on those couple of laps or couple of corners, that rear tyre, they're all aware that there is a drop coming, and it's in 2 or 3 laps time.
And who's got the best engine braking as well, that's also going to be critical.
Pol Espargaro seems to have run into some trouble 7th, so next in Pol Espargaro's now got his hands full with Brad Binder in 9th.
Alex Rins as well, he dropped right down to a 40.9, which was way slower than the pack behind him.
From Fabio, he's pulling the pin here, trying to break away from Franco Morbidelli in short.
Advantage over a 1/4 of a second now. Big battle here. See, well, they're already telling him he's got to go to a slightly softer power map to save some tyre.
Maverick Vinales check. He cannot get past Cal Crutchlow. He's in 15th place.
This is in his championship challenge. Potentially right now, if you threw the flag, He's losing 24 points.
At the moment in 12th, trying to bridge the gap to Miguel Oliveira. Aleix Espargaro's just dropped Cal Crutchlow and then Maverick Vinales.
No contention at all.
You can keep your eye on the guys in first and second up on the top left. What sort of lap have we got here from Fabio? 40.3. Slightly quicker on that lap was Franco in third.
There's nothing between the top three men at all. All of them doing 1:43s. Bailey. All was the domino effect. Skittles behind him with Zarco and Dovizioso.
People in the paddock warning us that it's around this stage of the race where there's a bit of a drop. It's also a dogfight going between Petrucci and Pol Espargaro. They're dive-bombing each other left, right and centre at the moment. 3 or 4 tenths away from where he needs to be right now, Mia. Still no change out from Morbidelli and Rossi. Here's Cal Crutchlow, who's closing in now on Aleix Espargaro.
An absolutely amazing job given his physical condition to be even in the race at this stage.
Maverick Vinales is lapping it for fun in FP4. Now, are these two guys out front, the two Petronas Yamaha S
turn has just about broken Jack Miller's resistance. Miller was a couple of tenths slower on that last
ploy from the Monster Energy Yamaha team to try and save the tyre for the latter stages. Or is it because they genuinely believe that they're in a bit of bother? An unfortunate incident involving 3 Ducatis. Danilo Petrucci, maliciously, he's still in the race. He's going well, actually. He's in line for his best result of the season in 7th.
Quartararo was marginally the faster of the 3 with a 1:40.4. He's in the turn 10, isn't he? He's gained some of that time back as we come into the stadium section here in Barcelona.
Yeah, definitely. 13, downhill right-hander. Now into 14.
Was never really put under any great pressure, certainly in Jerez too. This is a different story that survives some immense pressure coming from the 2 Yamahas behind him.
Pace dropped by a few tenths on that last Grand Prix. He went across the line in 8th place. Disaster for Pole on Danilo Petrucci. Has he just given himself a bit too much to do into turn 1?
To pass a Ducati at the end of a straight.
Meanwhile, out front, still the same, no change. A couple of tenths between Quartararo. Is being caught at this stage by Alex Rins.
Yeah, in turn, he's catching Miller ahead of him.
To hit a bit of tyre trouble at the moment, which was expected.
And it's going to be all about tyre management. You can see they're coming to the final corner. Fabio Quartararo, a bit up here by Mia. Mia was half a second faster on that previous lap, so Miller looks like... Oh, bit one. We just saw Pol Espargaro crash there as he passed Petrucci on the previous lap.
They're all getting warning. He's done well to keep that on circuit.
Well, he was nearly down twice, wasn't he, to be fair? Part of the track, he was desperate there to turn, keep turning, to try and not lose too much time. And the process almost...
Second place. There's Joan Mir going closer and closer to Jack Miller. Now, we know Joan Mir... You could see the tyre wear actually on Jack Miller's bike. This is not going to take much, I don't think. Posted is 0.6 of a second. There's 11 laps to go.
Yeah, some riders yesterday in the second half of the race. Well, that battle for survival is well and truly underway now. Jack Haas coming out the final corner.
Shows you how strong that Ducati is.
But as soon as he started winding it up 4th, 5th and 6th gear, he was able to stretch away from that Suzuki behind him.
It's own. He's having a look, not close enough on this between Quartararo and Rossi's now 9 tenths through sector 2.
Quartararo looks like lap number 15 where we anticipate that there will be the drop, the first big drop in rear tyre.
Big moment then for Franco Morbidelli. He's had his warning.
Still, it's going to be pretty hard for Franco Morbidelli to recover those 2 seconds now. That's the gap to him.
A bit of a charge the last couple of laps. He's made a few places up. He's now into 9th.
Fingers in ear time for Maverick Vinales' place at the moment.
Miller holding
championship gone, I think, as well for another Italian.
It could have been a fairy tale.
Mamma mia, that's what they're saying in the garage.
100th podium, unfortunately, disappear. It's a turn 2 crash on lap 16.
That he's crashed in successive races. That's a very rare occurrence, and now this has just given Fabio quite image of that factory Yamaha. Game over for him.
Breaking into change of direction, and the front just gives way.
Nuccio Salucci there, yeah. Mamma mia, that's what he was saying. Rossi then, down and out. Yeah, that was coming, wasn't it?
Jack Miller, and now he's got his eyes on Franco Morbidelli. It's around this time in a race times as he goes across the line. He's faster, certainly, than Miller's in the 42s.
Mir got him on the brakes into turn 10, did he? Or was it no, Miller just pulled down, not able to have any rear grip to help him brake and turn into that turn 10.
Got to give huge credit further. So it's now Quartararo 3 seconds clear, surely. Doesn't need to do anything silly.
Yeah, and conversely, Morbidelli, having had that big scare, he knows championship points, having already seen as well his mentor Valentino Rossi chewing gravel at turn 2.
That's being done in the World Championship here, and so disappointed is Valentino Rossi, dejected. Yeah. Opportunity that was.
Well, the airbag inflated, but Rossi completely deflated. That's a mammoth blow to Quartararo now is cruising away, isn't he?
3 laps, Danilo Petrucci in 6th. He's now gone past Pecco Bagnaia, although Bagnaia's all season long. Behind them, a hungry-looking Taka Nakagami.
Yeah, the cool Brad Binder, but they're 3 seconds behind this battle, raging between.
Down into turn 5 we go.
It's Joan Mir on Franco Morbidelli. Mir is going to be merciless here, isn't he? Because he's now within. For Valentino Rossi, bitter disappointment here in his 350th MotoGP start until Le Mans in a couple of weeks' time.
You're looking here at the battle. Lynn Jarvis giving Valentino Rossi a pat on the back. It's been his best chance of winning a race, and there was no warning whatsoever, was there?
You know, it's that left-hander, that treacherous turn.
This is the view from Quartararo.
I just wonder whether that was a... Just see, head in hands, he's absolutely gutted about that one. Absolutely gutted. He knows to match this man, Fabio Quartararo. Franco Morbidelli. I was going to say that's Miguel Oliveira, that's not Lecuona, that's Oliveira.
Well, that is his championship.
Turn 2, the tyre wear and the cool temperatures mean turns 2 and 5. I don't think we've seen the last of the 4.
Suzuki in a moment. Miller's done a brilliant job, I have to say, because it's so hard to hold on to these top spots. Every point precious for him, of course. Pecco Bagnaia 6th. But here comes Alex Rins then, looking to try and make a move then on Jack Morbidelli. But there's just 5 laps to go now.
Yeah, Mir having got to within 6. Team Suzuki X-Star boss looks on course at the moment. Suzuki for a W. He was on the podium in a Premier Class race in this part of the world.
13th on the grid, Alex, on a Sunday when you least expect it. Great at keeping the tyres. Morbidelli's done well, actually. The bold bid coming from Joan Mir for now is just
keep Alex Rins at bay. Rins coming up the inside of Miller on the brakes into turn 10, and he's got the job done. Ozzy.
Rins then up into 4th place, 3rd and 4th, 3-4. Pramac Ducati, 5-6. Cross the Delhi was quicker than Quartararo on that last lap. No sign to panic right now.
Yeah, but you can't roll off too much because you run the risk, the big risk, of letting temperature drop out of those tyres.
He's been told to switch to mapping 3 now. They're all struggling a bit out there to keep the lap times. Fabio 2 seconds slower now.
Yeah, there's never been a Suzuki rider in the modern...
Taken out of Quartararo. There'd need to be probably 6/10 a lap to be taken out of him for there to be trouble for Fabio. Here's a slow-mo replay of getting himself back to the top step. It's been a difficult month or so to come out right now.
Well, this is a great day right now for Fabio Quartararo because Andrea Dovizioso just got himself in the top 10. So Fabio Quartararo will be back firmly in control of this 2020.
Second place in sight here for Joan Mir. We're now riding on board with a Suzuki man. And don't forget, so he needs all the points he can get to not let Quartararo do too much damage to him.
Here much quicker, 41.6 from him.
like they've worked out he's got enough fuel to have full power from here on.
He's got to try and find a way through on Franco Morbidelli as yet. Brad Binder's run into a bit of trouble.
Into 143, so the deviation in lap times as the grips dropped. It's been around 2 seconds, which
Quartararo looks pretty comfortable still. The gap's come down slightly, but nowhere near enough. Morbidelli that we're looking at from on board Joan Mir. This is the chance then for Mir. Can he get into the slipstream? Second place, there's defence coming from Franco Morbidelli, but he's helpless. Through goes
Franco Morbidelli, because all over his rear tyre now is Alex Rins. The Suzukis have got the better speed at this now. Franco Morbidelli just desperately trying to hang on to the podium late on now.
On board man Fabio Quartararo. Will his teammate though be joining him on the podium? From 13th place on the grid.
Yeah, that would be a recovery now. Nothing left in that rear tyre at all, has he?
The move might come here from Alex. Franco Morbidelli is now out of podium positions altogether.
Can you believe it? Suzukis will have started together on a MotoGP podium together for the first time since Misano 2007. We're on the last lap shortly here in Barcelona.
Across the line we go to start the last lap. It's 1.9. Alex Rins, as ever with Suzuki's, it's the late show.
Yeah, quite a
behind them. Nakagami on Miller's gone back through on Pecco. He's not enjoying that one much.
Last lap did a 43.3. His rear tyre has just completely given up the ghost. He was a second.
Half a lap left in this. There's been some disappointment for the veteran Italians. But this man is back to his best. Over his shoulder, he sees Mir. He'll be happy that there's not too many laps left.
Yeah, he's desperate for the checkered flag, because he was also the second half of the race at least. A cruise for Quartararo and Catulunya.
The checkered flag 2 years ago. He got his first ever podium here just 1 year ago. He's back to his best from them. Franco Morbidelli will be gutted. He loses out on a podium place in fourth. The two Pramac job from the pair of them. Nakagami seventh, Petrucci 8th, Maverick Vinales 9th in the end. He managed to get
Catulunya. He's victorious here. We can talk to Petronas Yamaha SRT boss Wilco Zeelenberg down in pit.
Funny one guy's way, but you see at the end they all ride on eggs. The soft tire, we knew both did a great job. Congratulations, Wilco. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and he loves that Fabio, because he's back.
Absolutely delirious. First time they've had two bikes on the Premier Class podium in 37 at Misano. That Baron run has come to an end. Mir, great late race pace, and as find Fabio Quartararo, who's pumped to say the least.
It's 3 podiums.